Live from the Impossible Coin Studio in beautiful, sunny Tolleson, Arizona, it's Impossible Coin. I'm your host, Brian Cartwright, and I'm joined by Tegan Somerset.
I'm also here.
And Rocky Hardy.
There's a lot more mahogany than I imagined.
Who's sporting mahogany?
In the studio?
Yeah, the fancy studio you rented out.
Rent it out. Rent it out.
Oh, we purchased it?
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about it during tax season, I guess.
Yeah, we will.
Great news, it is tax season. Did we purchase this in 2025 or 2026? I have to update our tax forms right now. Listen, you can't buy fancy property without telling me first, or that's entrapment. I'm not going to be laundering things.
Would you believe that we actually purchased this in 2018 and Brian told me about it last week?
Oh my god. We've had this the whole time?
We have had this the whole time.
Damn it.
I think Brian was going to surprise us when we went to the Atari Hotel, but remember how that went.
Yeah.
I'm just surrounded by boxes of T-shirts which have us as Animal Crossing characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that went well.
I did get an update on the Atari Hotel. I got an email from them.
Oh, me too.
Really?
Yeah.
What's going on at the hotel? I'm not on their email list.
They're looking for like sponsors, essentially.
Oh my god!
No! It's so funny.
It's a hotel. Oh my god!
Rocky, we could get a conference room named after us. We could have the Impossible Coin conference room for a mere like $50,000.
I mean, it's I mean, okay, look, there's a lot of things I could do with my life if I had $50,000, and like, I mean, that probably not where I'm at right now.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but like, honestly, you know, let's be real. I'll never retire. That's not going to happen. I'll probably like die on my feet in a Walmart or something.
Oh god,
Brian, that's not going to happen to you, man.
I'm at least going to make sure you're in a home.
So why not just get a conference room named after myself at the Atari Hotel?
Yeah.
I mean, we could probably do something else.
We could podcast from the Atari Hotel, though. That could be fun.
Yeah, we could do that. That could be fun. I think like visiting the Atari Hotel and podcasting from there is cool. I don't think we give them the money to put Impossible Coin on the door. I don't think that's worth it. I think there's better ways to get that thing in particular from people that are probably more worthy of the money.
I feel like this is a good moment to kind of like pause to talk about like what is going on with Atari right now.
Yeah.
Because for a couple of different reasons. One is at various points over the history of this show, we have paused to dunk on the current version of Atari.
Right. Yeah.
And be like, lol, what is this? And two, by checking in on like what is going on with Atari right now, gives us an opportunity to take a moment and reflect on what is not happening with Intellivision and Amico.
Oh god. All right, sure.
Yeah. So like, there was an announcement about 3 years ago that I didn't really pay much attention to, because it's the kind of things that like these like weird companies focused on retro gaming will, you know, say the drop of a hat, and it usually means nothing. Which was, Atari said like, hey, you know, we're going to pause for a second and do some refining of strategy. Which usually just means we've run out of money and we are stupid.
Yep.
But like in Atari's case, that wasn't what it meant. It actually meant they were going to pause for a second and refine strategy, which feels wild.
Okay.
So they've like since, from a hardware perspective, focused on selling consoles. They're selling Atari like 2600s and Atari 7800s.
Mm-hmm.
And these 2600s and these 7800s just have modern like outputs on them. Like they just have HDMI.
Okay.
But it's like, okay, here you go. Here's a 2600, which means that like they sell a 2600, and there is right now the modern retro gaming market has never been bigger than it is right now. Like retro gaming is like huge. And if you walk into a retro gaming store and you're like, "Hey, I'd like to buy a game," they're like, "Okay, no problem. Just to let you know, everything from like the 16-bit era forward has experienced stratospheric price hikes in the last couple of years."
Also true. Yeah.
Yeah. But things which are NES or older have been largely immune to this.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because the people who would be the nostalgia age market for those are at this point too old to be making like nostalgia driven like purchases because they're busy doing things like taking Centrum Silver and watching Matlock.
Okay.
I mean, it's true, man. Like
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, if you were playing like Atari, 2600 as like a 15-year-old, you are fucking old now. Like full stop. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you played Super Mario Brothers when it was new on the NES, you are fucking old. Like and it's fine. It's fine. But because they're outside of the nostalgia sphere, like folks like you and me can still walk into retro gaming stores and be like, "Shit, man, can I pick up some Atari games?" And like walk out with like a decent amount of Atari games for like a reasonable amount, like not get taken to the cleaners.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, which is neat. And like, components are relatively cheap for these. Like they can build these new consoles using FPGA for like a song. And so one of the things that they've also been doing is putting out new games on physical cartridges, which I think is one of the things that like speaks to one of the things we've talked about in this show, which is the idea of like actually being able to get one's hooks into like the like we're like, oh, okay, like do you actually own this game, or will it disappear? Is it some kind of ephemera? And so like yeah. So they've done a really good job of like supporting these classic consoles with new releases.
I was talking to Tegan about it earlier this week. It feels like this week. I'm checking the dates here. There's something that ended up in our feed since we were taking stuff from Retro Dodo now. There's a Game Boy game that's currently available on itch. You can just play that, but they're kickstarting for a physical version. It's like a $5 download, and you can just like throw it in an emulator or just like put it directly in, say, like an Analog Pocket if you have one. But the Kickstarter is to actually make like Game Boy cartridges, and it's like reminiscent of the visual style of Link's Awakening, but this game is more like puzzle combat than like a full action adventure experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I played the demo the other day, and it felt like a real video game. It felt like I had a good time. The game Black Tower Enigma is made by a Mexico-based indie studio called Ogre Pixel, and like stuff like that is not uncommon anymore. Like it's just part of the space, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, and like with the stuff that Atari has right now, the new releases on 2600 and 7800, like they're all real games, which like feels weird.
Right.
Yeah,
you would expect it to be like shovelware because that's what we've gotten in the past, but like people are developing for these like consoles now, and that's really neat.
And it's very, very obvious that like whoever is like running the like the business end of the games, and you're like, hey, is this game worth us publishing? Is this worth us slapping them into cartridges? Like those people are doing business that makes sense and like getting good product. One of the things that they put out is Atari did a fucking collab with Deadmau5.
That's all right for sure. Deadmau5 likes video games, but still, that's interesting.
Yeah, where like it's like a variation of the Atari classic Food Fight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And in addition to their support for these classic consoles, they've also had like really robust support, which appears on like both Steam and modern hardware for things which like the catalog which Atari has had over like over the years, because like there have been a lot of things which have like happened to be Atari games, and they're like, you know what, people might want to fucking play with this. People forget, like the people that own Golden Tee is Atari, and so like putting out Golden Tee, like on Switch and PS5, probably a pretty good idea. Yeah, so like a whole bunch of stuff, like Star Wars Dark Forces, Roller Coaster Tycoon, like that's a pretty essential classic.
I hear that.
Yeah, and they're actually shelling out money for stuff which like makes I want to say like makes sense. Like the oh God, what is the name of that? It's it's a it's a 3D platformer, but your character is depicted as a 2D figure in this space. It's like a little devil girl with with an air dash.
Oh, it's not called Demon Time. It's called something else. But
Demon Turf.
Demon Turf. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, like Atari tapped the developer of Demon Turf
Okay.
to make a new Bubsy game.
No fucking way. That's who's doing the new Bubsy game? Okay, for sure.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and so this is what I mean by the decisions that they're making. Like they're not operating obviously at the hundreds of billions of dollars level. Like say,
yeah, but they got like management. There's people who's making sense in there. Okay, for sure.
Right. Like, but the decisions they're making, you're like, oh, that's a smart decision. I'd make that decision. People will buy that game, and it's like,
right.
Yeah, and I'm just like, when did fucking grown-ups start working?
Right. Start working for Atari, right?
Yeah. But and I just think it's so funny because like normally like we would see one of these statements like, "Hey, we're going to pause and rethink our strategy," because usually that always means like we're idiots and we want to buy more leather chairs.
Correct. Yeah.
But it didn't this time. It's like I'm like that's fucking neat and
interesting. Good on Atari.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love knowing that there's like new, interesting looking Atari games. I'm like, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also getting out there with like the retro merch because they know that people love things like the Atari logo. Like shout outs to Blade Runner, and it's like, man, good for them.
What if they do all of this and also the Atari Hotel does exist and is actually great?
If they figure out how to actually do the Atari Hotel, that would be kind of goated. That would be insane.
Yeah. Oh,
I think that's I really think that's going to happen.
I'd love to see it.
I'd be the only person on this show who thinks it's going to happen, but like, it could be sick, you know?
I mean, it's cool that they're making smart moves. If they hire the right consultants and then there's someone who's like really applying a sensible touch to a hotel experience and making a good video game hotel, I'm for it. I just don't know who that is. And if it turns out they figure out who that is, that's cool.
Here's the thing. They might have already figured out who that is, and they're just not telling us.
That could be fair. Yeah, I understand that. I'm down.
Yeah, I mean, like, to be real, like, none of us just has $50,000 laying around, so, like, why in the hell would they, like, expose?
Yeah, you know what?
Like, if we're just like, hey, you know, like, that is the kind of shit you tell people with money.
Generous listeners, if one of you has $50,000 laying around, could you send it to us so we can invest in the Atari Hotel? We will keep you abreast of the developing situation, I promise. You know? I want to know. I'm so curious.
That's fair. Yeah, I might spend some attention digging into Atari, finding out what's going on, see if they have something to say about the hotel. Who knows?
One of the things that they did last week, I think, is the funniest.
Okay.
As Intellivision was gasping, dying, failing to pay bills, ignoring emails from federal regulators about their about the language that they had used with investors, etc. Tommy and Phil were looking for a parachute so that way they could escape. What Atari did was like, okay, look, here's the deal. We are going to buy from you the name Intellivision, and we're going to buy from you the catalog of the entirety of the historical Intellivision catalog. So we will own all those games, and we will own all of the trademarks associated with the television. We will own the name Intellivision. And so you can continue with the development of your bullshit console, the Amico. But guess what it is? It is no longer the Intellivision Amico.
It is simply the Amico. Okay.
It is simply the Amico. And your stupid fucking games that you're putting on it, like Shark, and cornhole.
Yeah, Cornhole's a big hand apparently with this fucking god damn it, dude. I hate these idiots.
It has been too long since we've got to dunk on Amico exclusive cornhole.
God damn it.
Yeah, but if the game does use any existing Intellivision IP from, like, say, the classic Intellivision console, like Shark does, then you have to license the existing legacy IP from us.
For sure.
Let's go.
Yeah. Let's go.
So, like, they took the deal, and what they did was, for some of the games, they're like, can we rename this game now so it doesn't use existing Intellivision IP? I think Shark maybe became, like, Bitey Fish or some shit like that. Like, it just... But they're like,
That's
yes.
stupid.
But yeah, like, Atari showed up, they're like, yeah, you know what, like, since we're actually responsibly running, like, a retro hardware console business now, we're just gonna fucking, like, buy this up, so that way, if we want to put out an Intellivision console, we can. Because we know how to do this shit now. And I'm
There's
like,
still love and justice in the world. Okay.
oh my god, I just think it's so funny because, like, the very first console war was Atari versus Intellivision.
Yep. Now consolidated. Oh, that feels weird, actually. I'm going to keep an eye on that. But,
yeah.
I mean, they're not the major players. It probably doesn't matter. Do you think this is more mending old wounds or, like, vicious consolidation?
I think it's kind of funny that, like, the footnote to the first console war happens, like, 50 years later.
That's fair.
Yeah, or it's like, okay, here you go. Like, yeah, like, both of these consoles, like, had their fucking lunch handed to them in 1983 during the collapse, but here we are, like, a billion years later, and one of them just, like, handedly buys the other for a song. The end. Like,
this might be the beginning of another weird future, right? Because, like, oh god, not to glaze or anything, but Nintendo has largely built their success on top of the idea of Wither technology. They take shit that is cheap to produce, that is not the highest end stuff, and make, toys that are effectively fun, durable, and easy to handle, right?
Yep.
Nintendo, with the Switch 2, has largely abandoned that strategy, right? They're selling a $600 console in 2026, And, like, they're now trying to position themselves as, like, more high-end, arguably, to, like, gain some, like, parity with, like, the current platform holders who are struggling in their own rights. Xbox is trying to disavow consoles as a whole, and PS5 has been a clusterfuck for, 3-5 years now? But, like, what if we end up in a situation where Atari is positioning themselves as the new Nintendo, where they're earnestly trying to, like, use Wither technology, although in this case extremely Wither technology, to, like, court people who crave affordability in a retro market? That could be huge.
Let's go ahead and pull over and get out the picnic basket because we're going to be here a while. One, let's talk about Nintendo because you're absolutely right that they abandoned their classic strategy, but when they abandoned their classic strategy, they managed to fuck it up. Because is this new console, where they abandoned the classic Wither technology strategy, is it strong enough to achieve parity with an Xbox Series console or the PlayStation 5? No, it is not.
Right.
Even though it is demonstrably more powerful in a very serious way, it is still less powerful than its market competitors. And I'm like, oh no, guys. And I remember where we are on the fucking Nintendo chart. This is the GameCube again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
liked the GameCube, but, like...
Yeah, it wasn't a commercial success, honestly.
No, not at all. Mm-mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And sure, there are a lot of great GameCube games out there.
Yep. Some still being played to this day.
Well, if you take a deep breath and smell something, that's a Smash player. Yeah, like, they fucked that up because it couldn't achieve parity with the PS2. It couldn't achieve parity with the Xbox. And, like, Nintendo's back was against the fucking wall. But fortunately, Nintendo had at the time something it doesn't have now, which is Iwata. It was like, hey guys, what if our next console is just essentially two GameCubes duct taped together with a crazy ass motion remote. Like, there's no guy like that kind of like weird ingenuity, that kind of like spirit of doing strange bullshit doesn't really exist in like Nintendo's commercial identity anymore. Like, hey, what if it had two screens and closed like a book?
Honestly, Brian, I've been thinking about this because this is something that's also like shown up with like fantasy writing. Like I've heard like this noise, and it's like companies don't want to hire people with weird ideas anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't want to let people with weird ideas figure out how they actually work, and they only want to hit the targets that they can see, and they want to have the things that are, you know, like fan cam ready, like fan art ready, like QRL prepared, like for, and that's not, this, it's not just in fantasy writing or whatever, and it's not just video games, it's kind of fucking everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, no one wants to go down the untreaded road. You know, they want to keep walking wherever they are because that's the only thing that they can trust. And like, I don't know what happened.
I feel like this started, and this is going to sound stupid as someone who does not live in this space, but this started in television, like in TV years ago.
Go on, Tegan. Come
you
on,
know?
let's do it.
And now,
Yeah.
now it's just extending into everything because everyone is afraid to fail, and everybody wants to like own their competition. You know?
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Like, no, Tegan, I think you're cooking there.
No, Tegan's right.
Because, like, I think about the way that Game of Thrones fundamentally reframed what success looks like for television.
We should have killed the dams. We had a chance, man. God damn it. Whatever. It's fine. Go on.
Yeah, and like, Game of Thrones ended up being very bad for television.
Mm-hmm.
Between Game of Thrones and Stranger Things, it
generational ball fumble, man.
Oh, yeah. And so it's like, all of a sudden, like, what television producers thought television should be was like very, very different. Where they're like, oh wait, we shouldn't be serving up people 22 to 23 episodes. We should be giving them 6 to 8 episodes, which cost as much or more than movies, and we should be taking 2 to 3 years between seasons. And because of the way labor unions work, it fundamentally fucking collapsed the television industry. Because all of a sudden, working on a single television show wasn't enough to feed a writer or an actor. And because of the way distribution was changed, these things weren't producing royalties anymore. So, like, while there were people who were, like, super duper excited, like, hooray, Stranger Things, I can't wait to watch 6 new episodes of Stranger Things, it was creating a market where, like, every television show, like, couldn't feed its own staff. There's a really, really, like, sad but yet funny clip out there, which is a clip of Danny Pudi, and he's beginning
with
King.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah.
It's like, what's a luxury that you want? All right. God damn it.
Like, what's a luxury that you enjoy? A luxury that you treat yourself with? And,
like,
Danny Pudi talks about, like, it's like, oh, I love to buy myself a nice pair of socks. I really enjoy a good pair of socks. And, like, and then Larry King somehow is, like, offended by this answer. And he's like, socks. He's like, what are you talking about, socks? He's like, yeah. He's like, you don't like to buy, like, a good bottle of wine or fly somewhere that you really enjoy? At which point Danny Pudi says, I'm on DuckTales?
DuckTales.
Yeah, he's like, I think the line specifically is like, a private jet is a luxury, and he's like, I'm on DuckTales.
Yeah, right. And like that's the fucking thing is like Game of Thrones and Stranger Things that rewired the vector for what producers thought television should be. And now here we are in the year of our Lord 2026, and people are lining up around the fucking block for 3 shows, and television is acting like they're baffled. They're like, we're baffled. We had no idea people wanted this. And those shows are there's The Pit, which is crazy enough, a medical drama, which serves up 15 episodes a season, is filled with extras. If you look at any given frame of the show, there's a whole bunch of people just sitting around in the fucking background.
I do love extras.
Yeah, and like, God, like, I don't know if you've seen a lot of television these days, but like, extras don't really exist anymore.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought The Pit was older because of the amount of extras in it.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah,
I love
oh
that.
my god!
You're
it's
telling
amazing.
me the show is new? Is
Yes.
it
Yeah, it's like 2
current
seasons.
television? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, because like the color grading made sense,
Mhm.
and also the extras are there. So I was like, this has to be something that I just like missed in the late '90s or early 2000s. There's no way this.
Oh
is
no,
like
they're
a
just trying to
current
do
show.
ER again. Like that's largely what's
Wow.
happening. But
Well,
Yeah.
they're doing it right. I
Yeah.
think.
Yep. Yep.
God, I don't even go here.
Yeah. People are eating it up. And there's this show on, I believe it's ABC, called High Potential.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
good for
And it's
D.
like the lady solves crimes, but for 22 episodes a year. We're like, we're baffled. Why is this doing so well? And it's like, well, they can watch ladies solve crimes for 22 weeks, get to know the characters. There are episodes which are just fucking hangout episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And there are extras. Like it's television. And on CBS, Ghosts.
Yeah. Well, like they've made Ghosts like what 12 times now. Fuck, man.
Right. And like we've even we've talked about Ghosts before this show with like the number of different versions of it. But like
Yeah.
like it's weird. It's like they've fucking rediscovered fire. It's so silly.
You know what? I was thinking about what you were saying about Stranger Things and Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I do want to say, I think there was a show that predates them that were wired them the same way, but it did not fail. And the one that I'm thinking of is Mad Men. Mad Men ran, I believe, for like 22 episodes a year. There were a few different years where they took a year off, not for fun, honestly, but really to argue with AMC's like team, like Vince Gilligan and his team would like push for the show runtime, like it needed to be 42, 44 minutes to tell the story that they wanted to tell. And they're like, can we shave off 2 minutes so that we can run a couple more ads? Halfway through the show, like season 6 plus, they cut it down to 42 minutes or so.
Okay. All right. So I'm a Mad Men dork. So I've got some answers for you.
Okay.
One, it's Matthew Weiner, not Vince Gilligan. Gilligan is
You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. And it was a traditional cable season of 13 episodes.
13. Yeah, you're right. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair.
So but the thing is that there was an established model out there, which is Network 22, Cable 13, Network 22, Cable 13, and then it became like 10, 8, 6 everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was the problem. Because like the thing is that like Mad Men had enough eyeballs on it that at 13 episodes a season, everybody eats. Like Breaking Bad, everybody eats. And the way that like those shows were able to feed everybody is that in their off season, people would go fucking crazy pants getting the discs from Netflix.
Right.
And so like
that did happen.
Yeah. So by the time those shows, Breaking Bad and Mad Men, hit their second and third seasons respectively, they had these huge built-in audiences because of people getting physical discs from Netflix and binging.
Right.
Yeah, like so they would just return to like bigger audiences year after year.
I do think Game of Thrones and Stranger Things do like grow over time, but you're right. Like, well, Game of Thrones did do like DVDs, I think. You know, Stranger Things has always been like a Netflix original, so like it just kind of hangs out on the service. You would think it would be something closer to vertical integration, but it kind of like cannibalized its own audience because like if you were already there, like you could just watch Stranger Things, or like maybe they're like, you know, the seasonal people that pop in every once in a while. It's like, oh, I got Netflix again, let me watch Stranger Things and catch up, and then like drop it again or whatever. But like,
it blew my fucking mind when the series finale of Stranger Things happened, and like Netflix in an effort to like do a victory lap and show off was like, Stranger Things, the final episode. We're going to put the final episode into movie theaters for 2 days.
Okay.
And so it was New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. They put it into theaters, and in 2 days, it made $30 million. And the last episode of a television show made $30 million in theaters in the U.S. in 2 days. Like, fuck off, Netflix. Like, there are desires for people to consume this content off of the service. And the fact that they're like, you can't reliably, like, say, purchase a disc of, like, a Netflix movie or a Netflix series. I think about, like, the number of, like, really incredible films. Like, and I realize that we're off the garden path, and I'll try and steer us back. But, like, the fact that, like, one of the things that's been a big conversation point in, like, the last month has been, like, I can't believe that this is Delroy Lindo's first Oscar nomination.
Real.
And, like, well, you know, like, the last time he was really fucking owed was for Death Five Bloods, directed by Spike Lee. But unless you are paying Netflix for their service and already know about the movie, you would have no way of knowing that that film exists. Because they did shit to market it. And, like, when you log into Netflix, all it does is be like, hey, do you want to watch some true crime slop and or Stranger Things? Like, it does not, like, surface, like, these, like, great auteur-driven films that they've paid for over the years. They're not like, hey, do you want to watch The Irishman, directed by Martin Scorsese, or Defy Bloods, you know, directed by Spike Lee? Like routinely they pay for these amazing films and then just do shit, just surface them to people.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, like, it's just galling. But, yeah, like, I think that Tegan is absolutely right, that, like, just this idea of shitification through imitation, where people see that something makes a bunch of money, and that was the case.
Right.
Like, Game of Thrones made a bunch of money, but Game of Thrones was a case of, like, placing these, like, huge bets at the blackjack table. Like, you're just like, okay, in order to make Game of Thrones, like, you have to have, like, a massive, like, special effects budget and, like, extended production time, and like, and so when people try to create their own Game of Thrones, all they would do is just, like, spend, like, huge piles of cash, depleting their resources instead of, like, taking smaller bets on producing television. And Stranger Things was this idea, like, oh, we can produce a few number of episodes with increasingly longer layoffs between seasons, and that was the one thing I wanted to swing back on. Because I remember I wanted to mention the other thing about Mad Men, because you talked about, like, when was there a pause in production? And the pause in production in Mad Men happened once, and it was at the end of season 6, because Matthew Weiner was only contractually obligated to deliver 6 seasons, and he wanted to do a 7th, but AMC was like, oh man, well, we want to get as much as we fucking can out of this 7th season. They're like, we want to do 22 episodes. And Matthew Weiner's like, no, I want to do 13 episodes like I have been doing.
That's fair. Yeah.
And so what ended up happening was that, like, they went back and forth, and ultimately agreed upon doing 14 episodes that would be split across a total year of airtime. Like, as AMC tried to find a way to, like, milk the most out of the end of Mad Men. And, like, that's the fucking problem, is that, like, every one of these companies is so risk averse because they cling to this idea that, like, they have to spend all the money at once, and then if it fails, they're fucked. Which is why now they're like, oh yeah, we're only gonna you know, like, greenlight, like, the Play-Doh movie or you know, Lego movie, because, like, unless it's a familiar IP, like, we have no confidence in it. I'm just like, y'all.
I feel like there also, like, there's a huge obsession with number only go up. Number can't go down no matter what. If number go down, everything fall apart. And that's bad planning. Number can't always go up. Number has to go down. Number has to go down at some point. You have to risk number going down, you know?
And here's another one that, like, it blows my mind, is you say to them, like, hey, how do you guys feel about numbers stay the same? And they're like, oh, that's obviously the worst. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, it's like, number go down bad, number stay same, nightmare inducing. What does that mean? People find us fine? We can't be fine. We have to be best ever. And it's like, no, be okay, actually. Be okay good. Please. Sometimes B is good.
Yeah, like, eternal growth is not sustainable. It just isn't.
Right.
Yeah, like, this idea of, like, manifest destiny with the economy will, oh god.
Well, it's going to eat itself. It's going to Ouroboros at some point. It's going to find its own tail and then rediscover fire, you know?
It blows my fucking mind, because, like, you look at this year and, like, the two biggest culture tastemakers at the box office were Sinners and One Battle After Another. Like full stop. And like, I didn't see fucking Batman in any of those movies. Like, did you see Batman in any of those movies? Is there Legos in there? Is it Pert Plus Shampoo the film? No, like it's new stuff. New stuff. People will show up for new stuff when it looks fucking cool.
Right.
Speaking of new stuff that looks cool, I'd also looping back around to video games, which is what this podcast is ostensibly about. Did anybody see the Iron Lung movie?
I haven't.
Because I didn't, because I'm a little baby chicken. So
I heard it was good, but I haven't watched it.
So the Iron Lung movie like took me completely by surprise, like in its existence, and that I was like totally unaware of Iron Lung until somebody who's a member on my Discord server was like, "Hey Brian, are you going to go see Iron Lung?" And I was like, "What's Iron Lung?" And they're like, "It's the Markiplier movie." And I'm like, "What? What? Mark?
Yeah.
He made a movie?
Yeah,
he made a movie.
He directed and starred in a movie about Iron Lung, an indie horror game that he adored, and he went, "This would be a good movie." Also,
largely produced and self-marketed.
Yeah, although Amy, his wife, is listed as the producer.
Let's go, Amy.
And like his distribution, like it's crazy wild. Like his distribution strategy, the exact same as Taylor Swift, where like he dealt directly with the nation's theater chains, and this movie, which cost $7 million to produce, made $30 million on its opening weekend. Yeah, and like I am not here to say that is like an immediately replicatable strategy.
Correct.
Because like Markiplier has years of like developing a baked-in audience on social media platforms. Like he's on the YouTubes. Kids know it. But like this is a thing where like I look at our nation's theater chains and I go like, hey, maybe don't give 8 screens to Disney for the Fantastic Four: First Steps. Like, just a crazy idea. Like, what if you like put that on a couple of screens and then you put those 6 other screens being like other movies? Just a wild idea. Also, here's a crazy idea. Follow me on this one. Like we're familiar with the idea of food deserts, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I sincerely believe that we are in an environment of movie theater deserts.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Because we started to shift in the 1980s in the U.S. to a model of like large cineplexes where you would show up to a theater and be like, oh, okay, every movie I could possibly expect to want to see is playing at this one theater, which has 16 to 24 screens. It's bigger than several football fields, and I'll be responsible for wandering around this big-ass building for 3 years to get to the screen I want to. And so, like, these companies, like your Regals and your AMCs, have these, like, gigantic leases because they're these huge pieces of property, which means that, like, if they have, like, several screens have a bad time for months on end, like it fucks over and it'll sink everything. But there are countries and markets where like the major multiplex is not the standard business model. Like if you go to the movies in France, like the idea is like theaters are everywhere, but when you go to a theater, it will have 1 to 2 screens. Which means that theaters have a lot more ability to like specialize and like target a specific demographic. They go like, oh, okay, like we want to be a theater that serves this community. We want to be a theater that like shows this kind of movie. And so people can go like, oh, I'll reliably go to Theater X because Theater X, like Theater X always shows anime, or Theater X always shows anime subtitled in English, and like we don't have that ability for like neighborhood specialization, like and like there's not really like an ability to like have like neighborhood theaters, like because like there has to be fewer of them because they have to support more screens. But man, we've got to wheel this back to video games. Shit, yeah. So Markiplier, like I want to see more like, in terms of like what does his success mean for like market spaces. Like I think the closest analog I can think of right now is that Expedition 33 thing where like that was superficially independent, but I think it represented that just people want to see more stuff in marketplaces like presented to them than like say the same old games from like major publishers over and over again. Like that was like one of my biggest takeaways, like being an active participant in like a Steam winter sale for the first time in a while, was that like how much of what Valve was surfacing to me was like, hey, do you want to buy Ubisoft bullshitting? And I'm like, no, not particularly. I really don't. Like, I mean, I might buy some games from like major publishers, but like spoilers, if I do, like they're probably going to be old. They're probably going to be very old. Please show me indie games and old games. And I think like we need to get into a point where like the thing which is surfaced at the top of the marketing chain, so like Joe casual customer gets to see like shit like Markiplier or shit like Expedition 33, which is being produced outside of the conventional food chain. Yeah.
Also, speaking of Expedition 33, the development team has been knighted in France for their contributions to French arts and society.
Oh, let's fucking go. That's nice.
I showed up with information today. Isn't that exciting? I feel like I haven't shown up with information you guys didn't know in years. I'm on top of it today.
Good stuff, Kicks.
Thinking about how, like, in the Vatican, there's a copy of The Witcher 3.
Also Undertale.
Yeah.
Also Undertale.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Can we get the Vatican video game lending library?
That could be cool, honestly.
We got that patron saint of the internet, you know? Maybe we could get... We may need a specific patron saint for video games first, but I don't see why not, you know?
That kid, they're trying to make that kid, like, encapsulate video games, but I do think video games need a separate saint.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who they would be, though. Ooh, actually, speaking of, the Catholic Church, Brian, I gotta talk to you about this. There's another publication that I've been following lately. There's a website. It's stop.care.ing, or like car.ing. So I guess stopcar.ing. But the website is called Stop Caring, and they do a lot of culture writing for video games. They do guest writers. All their stuff is free. They offer a subscription, to support them and whatnot. Sure. But I do want to show you this article. I'm pasting it in this chat here, which is about Dragon Quest VII. It's timely because Reimagining just came out. They're not specifically talking about Reimagining, but a little bit. But the headline of it is called "God Won't Forgive You for Following His Will." The subtitle is "The Secularization of Dragon Quest," and they talk about how historically in the games, there are several mechanics that are tied specifically to the church. Like if you needed to find out how close you were to leveling up, if you needed to cure a character of poison, if you needed to revive and also to save, you would do all of those things in a church historically. However, over the years, as more QOL sands out the edges of the game, the church itself has become less important mechanically. It's not necessarily less important in the world of the game. Like, there are people who still venerate the goddess. And, divinity is still a recurring theme in the narrative of the game. But they talk specifically about how there's this feeling of playing the game. The interactivity has less to do with the church than it has in recent years. It's largely good writing. There's a lot of other good stuff that they've been doing lately, and I wanted to bring it to your attention because I know that over the years you've lamented a dearth of games culture writing in place of like tutorialization and like guides writing stuff.
Yeah.
And these people seem to be doing the good work.
I was actually just the other day grousing about the death of good writing when I posted on Blue Sky, why aren't there writers like X anymore? And I go on to say, motherfucker, imagine George Plimpton trying to balance the work required for Paper Lion while delivering enough Uber Eats to live.
Real.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that there is an outlet doing real work. Man, look at these people. Look at these people.
Honestly, they have a bunch of stuff that I'm very interested in reading about. They wrote something about Monster Train 2. Their headline is Headfirst for Halos, Monster Train 2's Intersectionality and Reformed Angels. They have an article that's just called Pay Attention to Incomplete Games. Another one called Demon Girl Catharsis. No Good Options, which talks about how, like, you know, sometimes games will just simply give you difficult options and make you wrestle with it.
Yeah.
There's some writing on Thousand X Resist, which appears to be a personal article about familial abuse and how it relates to the narrative of the game. If you know, you know. They wrote something about Blueprints, which has a subtitle, which is Chance-Based Games as Exercises of Anti-Indoctrination and Political Discovery, which is very interesting.
This is fucking crazy. Like I'm just scrolling here and I'm just like I feel like a kid in a candy store. I saw a headline here which immediately just derailed my ability to do anything else. Mother Loves You, or the last article I will ever write about my mother.
That's Thousand X Resist. That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, I'm
Red to Blue, Hecky Grace. Oh man,
yeah.
Brian, you would love Thousand X Resist. We talked about it before, but you would love Thousand X Resist.
When you have the spoons for it, you're going to adore it. We know.
Mm-hmm.
We know, and we're ready to have that discussion when you are. You know?
We should talk about fucking video games this week. And I want once again, I want to talk. I want to start because I'm not going to spend much time on it.
Sure.
So Blizzard made their announcement of the annual rotation for the core set for Hearthstone, and they're like coming soon, the year of the Scarab. And I'm like, you know what? I think I've got a different idea. How about the year of the go fuck yourself?
Let them know.
Yeah. I'm just like, because I would think, Rocky, the things I would do to reclaim all of my Hearthstone time. Mm-hmm. You know what? Actually, I wouldn't even say all of my Hearthstone time, because there were good years. Like
I hear you.
I can't believe I'm talking about it like a divorce.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
It's a long-term relationship. You've been there since Alpha. I get it.
Oh God, yeah. I've been with him for 10 fucking years. Yeah. And there were points in my life where it was the only video game I would play, but it would get 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like there were points where I was fucking low, where things were really hard for me, but I would be like, like, oh yeah, I'm like, my life is on fire right now, but I should log in and do my daily.
Yeah, right. Fuck.
Yeah, and like I don't know if your relationship with League was ever there.
Oh, dude, oh man, I still have music on some of my playlists from the stuff because it's really good music. I still enjoy it, but like, I feel the vibe of the climb. But then I remember, like, I will look up sometime and something that will happen that has nothing to do with me on like the other side of the map, and there's just some jungler that's just having the worst day of their life, and they decide that they're gonna yell slurs at the mid laner because they missed something or whatever, and that's my next 45 minutes, and I just have to watch them scream. Dude, it's like, it's not necessarily like a divorce for me, but it's more like living through a divorce 40 minutes at a time as like a child, like while my parents are fighting, and it's just, I don't need that. It's not necessary. Like, it's fuck, man. God,
it's just this, like, it's this cycle of abuse because they have created this like feedback loop. Mm-hmm. You're just like, well, I've got to get this month's card back, and
yeah.
Like, well, what if I don't get this month's card back? And then I sit there and go, Brian, when is the last time you changed your card back? Because the reality is that once I hit Legend, I just changed my card back to Legend and I never switched it again.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, and if I don't use my Legend card back, then the card back that I use is the one that was from the first month of ranked play that says I've been here since Alpha. Like that's it. Those are the only ones. Those are the card backs I use. The I'm day one or the Legend one. So like, dude, do any of the other card backs even matter?
Who knows,
like,
man?
If you don't get this month's card back, then you're fucked. And it's like, oh no. It's like, oh, that's right. And what they started doing is like now they're running like near constant events because they know that like they create a sense of social pressure. Like, oh man, like we put a free cosmetic as the end of the XP chain for the event. You don't want to miss that cosmetic, do you? Like, do I? Do I care? Do I care? And like they've announced that like that for Year of the Scarab that there are some cards which have been pretty essential to class structure for years for various classes are being removed from the core set. They're like we're removing Shadow Step from Rogue, and I'm like, you're gonna take Shadow Step away from me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right then.
Yeah. I'm like, well, I guess there goes Rogue, and like I know the score because these guys are bad at game design now. Instead of figuring out how to like effectively balance classes, all they understand is sometimes some class is good, sometimes some class is bad. And so this is them deciding that Rogue is now a bad class because they don't know how to fucking balance. And I think back to those first 3.5 years when Brode was driving development and all of the classes were balanced. You could build a deck in any class and fucking hang. And I'm just like, it's not true. And also, like, what was going on was interactive. Like when you play, it did feel like chess. It did feel like I'd have to pay attention to everything that this person is doing. But now it's just it's like, oh, I'm just sitting here jerking it, waiting until my next turn, like because whatever he does doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
and it's so boring, and there's nothing like sitting there while some idiot is just like hammering the sorry emote, like oh god, or the well played emote, like oh thank you. I'm so glad that like as you sit there in your basement that you enjoy hitting that well played emote 30 times as I play out my hand, like you jerk. It's shitty. It's shitty. And so like
I hear you, man.
I would love to have back some of the time that I have spent on Hearthstone over the years, because I have had so much fun just like having games that are not Hearthstone be part of my daily routine.
Real. Yeah.
Man, is this now the appropriate time to talk about Bellatra? Have we entered the Bellatra part of the show?
Yeah, dude, you can talk about Bellatra. Let's do it.
No, I finished my first. I blue deck, baby. I did a blue deck run, and felt so fucking good. It felt so good. Oh,
I'm glad that you built a pair hand. I was going to tell you, but like I felt like it was something that you wanted to discover. You'd probably want to discover on your own. I think bigger hands are largely unwieldy, but like if you're not sure what hand you're doing going in, like pair and like high card are arguably the most adaptable like hands in the game.
Yeah, they are.
Oh man, I'm glad you got there, dude. Honestly.
Oh man, there's that one boss blind which tells you like you can only play one type of hand against me.
Yeah, that one's a little mean for sure.
And I'm like, well, fuck you, baby, because I have stacked high card.
There you go. Yeah. That's what it is.
And, I mean, man, and like, it's like there's so many different ways to like think about strategy in that game, and like, and now like I've kind of like settled into this philosophy where I'm like, my jokers are like. My jokers are my Pokemon. And
sure. Yeah. That makes sense.
I feed them with my Celestial cards, Arcana cards, and Spectral cards. Yeah. That's how I feed my Pokemon. It's I've just got to put together the right team of 5 or more Pokemon.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, like oh man, and it's also like I love this thing that you have to do, which is really just be willing to bend to
Hmm.
you have to be willing to bend to what you're encountering with the RNG. And like if
Right.
yeah,
Because you're the
like
tool, man. You're the weapon, you know?
that's the one like my Jokers may be my Pokemon, but I'm the fucking trainer.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh, okay, like all I'm getting right now are Jokers that synergize with Flush. It's not my first choice, but that's what I'm getting. This will be a Flush.
Hmm.
Also, I think that I started doing better once I stopped like really fretting about every lost run.
Yeah, that's a hard lesson to learn, like in any roguelike. But dude, like the whole world opens up when like losing doesn't hurt as much, you know?
And it's like I'm like whatever, man. Like what tech did I learn this time? Like I it was and I felt so silly, at first being like, oh, okay, like when it scores the round, it reads from left to right like a sentence. Like
Hmm.
Joker placement matters. Like what order
Right.
I put Jokers in up there? Like like okay, like so. I really want to go chip plus multi. Um,
Correct. Yeah.
and man, there's so many. I tried to step in it yesterday. I'll admit it. I got big for my britches because when you beat Balatro with a blue deck, the card back it provides you is the Nebula card back. Um,
Right.
where
Nebula's
where
weird, man.
where
It's cool, but it's weird.
yeah, and where Laboratory has already been purchased, and I was like, all right, I'm like let me try a run here, and like that one's weird because like with that celestial packs always have whatever your most common hand is.
Hmm.
um, I didn't realize that like what that means is I should hold off opening celestial packs um, because like you really don't want to start like hitting the celestials with a nebula deck until you have kind of like shaped out your joker collection,
Hmm.
because otherwise you're like overcommitting way too early. Like you're like,
Right.
okay, yeah. I'm like, well, what if I don't find a half Joker? What if I don't find a tarot Joker? Like that little guy whose multiplier increases every time you open a tarot pack. Like, oh man, like there's just so much going on, and just like the moment to moment game experience of Balatro feels so fucking good. Like I love the animation. Like God, it may only have like one little bop on a loop, but it is a bop.
It's
Like,
fucking pop.
yeah, man, what a video game!
When you
What a
nail
video
Mhm.
it
game!
in one, you don't need another bop.
True.
Yeah, like my relationship with that game is like it is intense, and like I will not be done until I have beaten it with every deck back. And I love how one of the things that they do when you finish your first run and they return you to the title screen after your first run, they show you the Balatro logo, but instead of just being a regular normal card in the logo, it shows you a locked fucking card back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And they're like, no, not. They're like, not yet. Like, you haven't unlocked this yet. I'm like, what is that?
That reminds me. Did you get to take a look at that Infinity Balatro run that I sent you, or that's in this chat?
Should do that. Do that.
Uh, I feel like you're gonna learn a lot now that you've gotten through a run, like all at once. Like you're gonna like plug right into the matrix, man.
Oh man, like like it's there's a thing that I'm starting to sense now, and this might just be like refining just like my roguelike instincts, but there are moments now where I'll get to the end of a run, and like I love being able to distinguish between hey man, I fucked that up versus nah man, that was the way it was this time. Like being able to
Real.
tell
That's big. Yeah.
like that's such a good feeling.
And you just look at it sometimes like that wasn't me. That's just the dice. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Versus like, oh no, I shouldn't have done that. And like that, it's a totally different thing. It's hard to tell at the beginning for sure, but once you can see it, it's like life changing for sure.
Yeah. Like I've been pushing and trying to get through a yellow deck run now, and I realized that like the what I was fucking up initially with the yellow deck run is they're like, hey, we start you with an extra $10 with a yellow deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh man, I've got diamond gem money if I'm yellow decking it. And like, so the instinct, if you have a yellow deck, is to like that first time you finish that first small blind, is to spend heavy because you've got all this fucking money, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no. Like the longer you hang on to as much of that money as you can,
interest is insane when you start with $10 for sure.
Like if you start with $10, the interest is going to be great. And then like, what happens if you get that fucking like, holographic or foil card Joker in the shop, like on the small blind of the second round? If you blew your wad in the first blind, you can't buy that thing. But if you sat on that seed money, then you can pop for those like surprise jokers like later on. Like there was a yellow deck round I felt so bad about because I got three. I got like a foil joker, polychrome joker, and a holographic joker. Yeah, all in the same run, and I couldn't afford them because I shot my wad early.
Yeah,
I was like, now I get it. Like yellow deck is about like building money and patience, and they just give you a bigger seed at the start, like that. Because like if you play yellow deck right, then you can decide like what's your preference: more hands or more discards. And then whenever you find that, just like pulling it in the store, you're like, yeah, give me more discards, give me more hands, give me more jokers. What a fucking video game!
True. That was a local thunk. Actually, I did want to talk about a Pokemon thing, but actually, since we're kind of in this roguelike mood, I want to talk a bit about another like solo dev-ish release that happened. The DLC for Rabbit and Steel just came out, Rabbit and Steel Extra Mode. They added basically a new campaign. I've talked to you about it before. It's a roguelike raid simulator, essentially. And they introduced new classes to play with and like a new campaign to run through with like a new boss. And they introduced new mechanics. Well, like, not necessarily new to me, because, like, they're all Final Fantasy mechanics to me, as far as I can tell. But, like, just new mechanics that weren't previously in the game. And it's so clean. There's so many, like, great big and also little small decisions that they made. Like, the mini bosses from the original, like, game campaign can now be shopkeepers in the DLC, but then you ask yourself, what happens to the shopkeeper from the original game? And it turns out now they're a boss, like they're a character that you can interact with in this different way. But also you can interact with the mini bosses as like shopkeepers. There's a mechanic that you have where you can like pet certain shopkeepers or pet the shopkeeper. But depending on the shopkeeper, like there are like achievements for interacting with them in a particular way. There's one where you can pet them 10 times. You get an achievement for, and like you get access to new tools. There's a few other shopkeepers that I haven't figured out their secrets for yet, but like, like the Discord is alive and well. There's so many people who are just digging into the new stuff, and it's free. They just kind of gave it out. You can just now play the new Rabbit and Steel. And it requires coordination in new ways of reading the map. The super boss now has like a killer second phase, like Toho theme to it. It's super cool. I'm having a great time. We played a bit of it last night, and I'm looking forward to playing it a bit more on stream on Monday.
Nice.
I am a little mad. Not about the game.
Mad.
I have two kinds of mad about it. One, hard, mean to me specifically. Everything needs you to be fast. I play slow characters. This sucks. Affectionate, positive. I can't wait to fucking get my shit together. Number two, Alex played with us last night. It was his first time playing the game, and he absolutely kicked my ass, and I'm mad about it. He did so much better than me. It was his first time. And he's just like, no, I get it. All right, here we go. Made a fucking broken ass build on a heavy greatsword that made him invulnerable the entire time he was spinning around. And they spun around like a fucking Beyblade. And I'm sitting here like, this is mean to me. How do you get this already? You've been playing for an hour. It was bullshit.
It's definitely a kind of game that can set your heart ablaze. Man. I'm going to buy one of those plushies, actually. I'm so mad. I'm like low-key mad that they're not charging for this. You know what I mean? Like, it's a great video game, and I'm glad that Neil put it up for free so more people can touch it and what have you. But also, I want to reward their efforts. You know what I mean? I want to give back. Thank you for giving me this thing.
There are a bunch of people on this team who are like, how can we would like to give you money for this. Do you have a Ko-fi or something that we can like directly deposit to you? Something, a PayPal, anything? And he's like, no, but if you want, you could buy the soundtrack maybe. And like, that's it. It's so funny. He's doing it for the love of the game.
True. Yeah. Man.
God.
Also, Brian, you mentioned Pokemon earlier, and I've been playing this Pokemon fan game, Pokemon Echo, and I think it's cool in a very different way than like modern Pokemon works nowadays. I think it handles the Pokemon trainer fantasy extremely well. And I'm not talking about what happened in like the 90s show where like I want to be the very best and I'm a kid traveling the world and running into people with these little monsters and whatnot. In Pokemon Echo, you are a assistant researcher, right? Like you have like a job. You're working with a Pokemon researcher in the world, and they ask you to start gathering some Pokemon so that you can be productive in field work. They have you do gym challenges so that you gain access to more tools and places so that you can more effectively do your job. And like everything else is like super like streamlined in the way that a fan game can be, where like the HMs, instead of having to force a Pokemon to learn a move, like as long as you have access to it, you can use it. But like your thing is mostly exploration, walking around, learning how like Pokemon and like the world relate to each other and reporting back your findings. And it feels like I am in like playing Pokemon Echo feels like I'm a Pokemon researcher doing my job, like gaining more experience and working towards that goal. And like Pokemon doesn't feel like an afterthought. Pokemon feels thoroughly integrated into the world, but also I'm a person living in a space and time, which is something that I feel like the games are less interested in nowadays. It's more like you need to be the kid playing the Pokemon game, metagaming this world where there's 9,000 Pokemon instead of just being a person in the space. And like I think it's a really cool change of pace. I'm very much enjoying my experience with it.
And I think multiple vectors to pivot off of that. One is let's stay on Pokemon for a second, which is that we're apparently due soon for a Pokemon Direct.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
What do you want from it?
I don't care. Sincerely. Like, I have other stuff to play. I want to know when BC Ball 1.0 comes out, because I don't know what I don't know what the Pokemon company could do to seduce me at this point, sincerely. I'm not going to say it's not possible, because anything's possible, but like, I sincerely don't care what they have to offer me, really. Like, maybe they can offer me a space where I can just be like a person playing a video game. You know what I mean? Or like there's a world that's worthy of exploration and an earnest desire to give me the tools to do it, you know? I'd like to be in a world where like it feels like I'm, inhabiting the space and like making and building relationships with these like creatures of the world to some meaningful end. But like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like that's anything they care about. It sounds like they want to sell new video games to 10-year-olds, and like that's cool. I've made peace with that. So like, if they really want me back, like I guess do it for real. But like if you don't, if you're still trying to like keep everyone together, then keep doing your thing. I'll be over here. I'll be all right. I promise.
This year the Pokemon Center's Valentine's drop. So like Poke Park Kanto just opened, right? So there's all kinds of like new merchandise and stuff for like adults of like people who've been playing Pokemon for 1,000 years, right?
Mhm.
But there's also like the Pokemon centers in Japan still do specific like merchandise drops. And this
Right.
year's Valentine's drop is called Don't Attack Me. And it's a bunch of fairy type Pokemon, and there's like two colorways for it. There's like a pink colorway and a purple colorway. And the pink colorway has everyone looking all cute, and the purple colorway has everyone looking all pissed off. And like that's been fun, and I'd like to see more like that stuff, you know? I want more
For
like
sure.
I think like Pokemon, the thing that it could do to like sway me back is like number one, invest in the game, actually give like them real money to do like real graphics and like really make it good, you know? And like do a big cool story, you know, and give them like 5 years to do it, 10 years to do it if they need. I don't care. Um
Hmm.
but like really spend money on Pokemon like Pokemon is your moneymaker. Like the games are your moneymaker. That's what I'd like to see. Um and then also I'd like to see like more games that are just similar to the researcher game where you're just like a dude in the universe, you know? I want like Pokemon Daycare Simulator where like you are working at the Pokemon, you take over the Pokemon daycare from your grandparents, and now you have
That
to
could be
make it
cool.
the best Pokemon daycare ever. And that could be like a Stardew Valley-ish, like adjacent kind of game in my brain where you're like setting up different areas for different kinds of Pokemon and making sure that all the Pokemon that visit are happy and like that kind of stuff, you know? Like Pokemon concierge combo thing. I don't know.
Actually, that Pokemon game where like you're the Ditto or whatever is coming out soon, right?
Yeah, Pokopia. That's like my
Pokopia.
Pokemon Minecraft.
I
Yeah.
thought it
Could
was
be
Pokemon Animal
could be
Crossing.
cool.
I think it's something between Animal Crossing and Minecraft. But like it definitely looks like a block game for sure, but you also like interact with Pokemon in a vibe similar to like Mystery Dungeon. But like
Hmm.
it's open world rather than like plot driven.
Yeah. Could be cool. I don't know. We'll
Hmm.
see. It looks funny, but
Yeah,
I don't know like how I need to see more of it before I'm like sold, you know?
for sure. I mean, this weekend they're doing another Big Boom Bash for BC Ball, so I might just come pop in and play a couple matches of that, and then like go back to Rabbit and Steel. I think I'm fine. Um, I don't know. I don't know what I would want from a Pokemon Direct. Like again, if they want to talk to me, then sure. Like, give me a call. I guess it's not like I'm avoiding them or anything. You know, I just have other things to do, and they've very much signaled that they are not interested in talking to me, and I've made peace with that. I think.
Okay,
Um,
there's things that like that both of you have said that like resonate deeply. Like one is like this idea that like that that the game should be the focus and it should be mechanically interesting. And Tegan's call like take as much time as you need. Like the game should be the center of attention. If you need 5 years, take 5 years. Like Pokemon definitely feels like right now with a lot of its games like it's on this like terrible treadmill.
mhm,
Um,
I mean it is because the Pokemon games are tied to the card game cycle.
right.
New games come out to support the Pokemon trading card game specifically. Like that's the grind they're on. And that's not like the devs' fault. The devs didn't decide that. The
Yeah, Game
Pokemon
Freak didn't
company
make that
did.
decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say this, and this goes back to a period of time when good decisions were being made by Blizzard. One of the earliest things that like Blizzard did that was a good decision was to uh, divorce Hearthstone's release schedule from the expansion release schedule of World of Warcraft.
I
Um,
hear that. That
yeah,
sounds forward thinking.
yeah. Um, Again, smart idea that was made eons ago. Um, and I think that like they come on, come on, Pokemon Company. Um, you people are going to buy these video games and buy these cards regardless of whether or not they're tied to each other's cycle.
That means they don't. I mean, they might as well feed it into their cash cow. Like that's what it means to them. You know what I mean? Like they're just like the card, because the card game makes insane amounts of money. Like there's no argument against that really. And so like if it doesn't matter what the games are and people are going to buy them, they might as well use it to plug their card gaming business. You know?
I read it. I wish I could remember like where I read it, but it was this piece of writing I saw where this guy took his kid to some Pokemon card event, some official Pokemon card event. So, like,
Okay.
what would this be? Like, help me out here. Like,
it'd be a major or something,
right? And so, like, he like there was like a belief that this was going to be like neat and exciting and fun, and the kid was looking forward to going. Like, oh, hooray! Like, and when they arrived, there was not really any kind of like accessibility for like cards directly, and there was already like if the kid wanted cards, like it's just like you're going to be dealing with like predatory resellers because cards have already been snapped up.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
by the secondary market, and there's all these like terrible stories of like people going to like Targets and like cards and nothing but like empty peg hooks.
I think they stabbed a guy in like a Target parking lot over like some packs. I think like last year.
Yep.
And now like Pokemon places that sell Pokemon are being encouraged to take the plastic off. Same with the One Piece cards.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're saying like, hey, when you like if you buy Pokemon cards at the Pokemon centers like in Japan, they take the plastic off. They open them. Not all the like individual packs, but like they take the plastic off, so you can't reseal it as like
mint or anything.
Yeah, you can't be like this is an unopened product, you know? And it's because of how bad it's gotten.
Gross.
True. I mean, when you have people like fucking whichever the Paul brother it was, the one that like fucking is collecting Pokemon cards and he's wearing like a sealed like holographic around his walking out to a boxing match or some bullshit. Like we're not in the right space. I wish the Pokemon company sued. They have more money than Jake Paul does. I know they do. And like they're just like either this is ignorable or this is good for business. And I don't know if either of those things are good personally, but whatever.
And it's this place now where they're like, it's like, oh, like, well, why would we want to like rock the boat with this? Like we're in this place where like, if we produce 10 widgets and we can always sell 10 widgets, then we believe our model works. And I just think I think it's a huge bummer. I think they could sell like I think they could produce 100 widgets and maybe sell 96 if they like tinker with the model. But like right now they're just like, oh man, we can massively underproduce, but we can always sell out. Like it's risk averse. This is Game of Thrones, but in a different way. It's like
it's everywhere now, man.
Yeah, like they're incredibly risk averse, and they're just making it everybody else's problem. And so this like there is a reason that there is a generation of like middle-aged parents out there that are trying to raise their kids on Pokemon because of their own time with Pokemon. But like it's not really the same kind of accessible experience when they were young for so many different reasons. Like one, the trading card game is fucked for all the reasons that we've just outlined here. And two, because Nintendo consolidated their console product line, it used to be a parent could just like hand their kid a fucking Game Boy and be like, hey kid, here's this cheap thing that if you drop in the toilet, I'm not going to be mad. Right. And like that doesn't really exist anymore. Like
it's not real anymore, man. Like these are like what fucking $100, $200, $300 iPads at the like on the under level, like of course it's like a Kindle or something. And it's just like Jesus Christ. Yeah. No, that world's like I don't think that world's real anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, like there's if somebody wanted to do serious fucking business, like I would. I'm going to look into this. I'm going to see if anybody has developed a good Pokemon clone for the Playdate.
Oh, that would be interesting, actually.
Yeah, because
I don't know. Actually, I feel like I would have heard of it, but I sincerely don't know. I haven't been watching every single one of the releases.
But like, man, because like that's small, simple, ruggedly tough, built well hardware,
Mm-hmm.
and and the games for it are like cheap. Like games for Playdate, like the expensive games on Playdate are like $10.
And even then, you get like a subscription, and it's just like you get a game every month for 2 years for like, I don't know, $50 or something. I can't remember what the subscription was.
It's like 2 games a month for like $50.
Yeah.
But it's for a year. So, but still, it's like that's 12 games for $50.
Mm-hmm. For $50, man.
And that's on top of the subscription that the hardware comes with anyway. Like when you get the thing out of a box, you're getting 24 games. And that's like if you choose to do the year 2 subscription, then that's another 50. But you've already got 24 games, and your hardware has plenty of room to like store additional games. And also, unlike most other hardware developers, Playdate doesn't lock you into their walled garden. Like you are able to go buy Playdate games off of itch.
And you can just upload them to the thing, just connect it like USB-C or whatever. Jesus.
Yeah. And you can even they even give you the tools to like deliver games wirelessly.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm like, man, if there was, and like there's tech out there for like local Playdate versus Playdate gaming. Where you could like sit there with your Playdate, and I could sit there with my Playdate, and it's like, oh, are we on the same local area network? Okay, great. Well, let's game together. There's plenty of like those games already out there for Playdate, and there's also like games which have online support for Playdate, and I'm like, man, like it seems like this is the perfect space for someone to like make some like Pokemon style game, because like that the hardware is like it is literally when we were talking about like Nintendo style hardware, it is withered technology. Like they did this great idea where they're like, well, what if we buy all these screens that were originally intended for parking meters, which is why they were able to get the screens so cheap. Like Jesus, that's Nintendo thinking right there. That is classic Nintendo thinking. Like buying up screens for parking meters. God. And also the weird, fun tech side of it, where there's a crank on it. Jesus, imagine a Pokemon-style game that focuses on fish. Like,
that could be cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fish out there.
Here. I'm just going to do a quick, light bit of research.
While you're doing that, I'm going to rant a little bit about Shin Megami Tensei 4. Shin Megami Tensei 4 is fucking goated. It's super cool. On the stream playthrough, we have reached like a critical position, and I am personally terrified. There are a few endings to Shin Megami Tensei 4 because there is a morality system that follows you over the course of the game. How close you align towards like law or chaos. Spoiler alert, the law and chaos endings are both fucking terrible. And so I want to avoid both of them. And so what you need to do is actually end up somewhere in between. And after a bit of doing last Wednesday, I arrived in a place where I am technically within neutral ending range. However, I need to maintain that spot over the ending chapters of the game, which involve several boss fights that I probably don't want to repeat, and also several choices that can wildly swing your morality. Like the last like 3 choices in the game literally swing you from one end to the other, like from law to chaos. in sequence, or even like by opposing each other. Like you basically have to do the last three choices of the game, negating the ultimate like result of the morality shift, which means you have to be in the good spot before then. And again, I'm like narrowly in the neutral area. So I have to be very careful going into this next like sequence, and I'm pretty worried about it because I'd hate to show someone like the Law and Chaos endings where nothing was good for anyone ever. It turns out maybe it's like good for maybe like two people max in each of those, which is like the protagonist question mark and like whoever you decide to help with like the Law and Chaos ending. But that's going to be an ordeal. Over the weekend, I did a handful of prep to make things easier or more streamlined for like the next stream, and I forgot how many like crazy like known names there are in the high end dungeons. Like you can fuse a demon that is effectively Athena from Greek mythology. You can also like fuse a demon that's like the demiurge, which is like another like interpretation of like God if he was ultimately incompetent. You can also like the archangels and most of the bosses that you fight over the course of the game, which is interesting in its own right, where like you can fight through most of the game and like most of the bosses that you fight, Eldritch Horrors and all, you can just like put them on your team at some point if you gather the right resources. And that's super neat. I did have to use some of the DLC quests, the ones I think we talked about years ago that like feed you a bunch of money or like EXP. And they are useful. They're just not useful at the beginning. But it also reminds me of like how like cash poor the game is. Like unlike basically any RPG I've played in my life, except for maybe Dragon Quest, most fights that you like win in the game don't have a cash reward. Like you don't get money for defeating your opponents that you can spend in like stores. Like you get like XP and stuff and other things for sure, but like money is just not a common thing that you get, and there's just a whole separate set of mechanics to get money in the game that are not as telegraphed as you'd think they would be.
Yeah. I'm still so scared. Still so scared.
I mean, honestly, it's a scary game at first, but like it opens up once you get your tools. Honestly, Brian, like if I were to coach you on how to play Shin Megami Tensei in its opening hours, I would, one, make peace with like failure. Like even on stream when I was like doing like the first dungeon, I think I died like 5 times. I think in the first dungeon before I really got out of it. But like once you have a spread of like demons that can do the things that you want, which in if you were playing it for the first time, I would recommend that you get a spread of demons with all the elemental spells so that you can consistently hit weaknesses. Then like you kind of get to cruise like once that, because there's just no weakness you can't hit, generally speaking. And if you like build into magic, you'll always be strong. I'm currently doing a gun build because I don't have to care about weaknesses because most things aren't weak to gun. And I just like literally melt things at this stage of the game with the amount of like gun damage that I'm able to do, which is cool. So like most fights for me end in 1 or 2 turns.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
That does swing back to Bellatra for a second, which is that
Sure.
For better or for worse, a habit that I have is trying to resolve each blind in a single hand.
I hear that.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I'm like, all right, y'all, let's do this. Like, if we either go home big or we don't go home at all. And I don't know if that's a bad habit yet as a player, because they're like that's a game that definitely does reward you for like finishing each blind with like fewer hands. They like you get more money. If you didn't take all the hands, and there are jokers which have benefits which like say buff like okay how many cards are left in your deck, you got stuff like that. And so like if you're not on your like 3rd or 4th hand, like you'll be doing better there. But like the idea of like okay each one of your battles that you're experiencing now in SMT like only going 1 or 2 rounds like very very strongly resonates. which also like reminds me of like the way I'm playing Skyrim right now, because for some reason I'm playing a lot of Skyrim.
I mean, you like Skyrim, man.
Yeah, I mean, crazy time. So like I'm doing a stealth build,
Mm-hmm.
which I think I mentioned before, which is crazy because like the last time I went through the game, like I was a mage heavy build, and and I did a lot of conjuration, a lot of destruction magic, and this time I'm like, okay, avoiding combat, and like there's something very like I never really got to enjoy all of the hooks that the game has for doing shit stealthy and being sneaky, and very much like Hitman, if you play the game like that, combat, if it ever happens, usually resolves itself within like a second or two.
Yeah.
um like there is a quest where for the mages college, the ogre librarian is like, go get these books for me. I'm like, okay, whatever, ogre. And so like I go to get these books, and there is a there's a rather nasty boss at the end of that dungeon who calls herself the Caller. Um, and I show up, and I've got this like dude with me, this dork, who is like the guy who stole the books from the library in the first place. And she says to me like, like leave him with me, and you can take the books. And I'm like, like, well, historically, when I've played like very generic ass good guy builds, what I will do at this point is I will then, you know, summon a dude and like begin like combat with her. And combat with her gets so hairy, so hairy, because like once you get her like held down 2/3 of the way, she starts like fucking teleporting and summoning multiple Dramoras at a time. It just gets gross, and I'm like, man, like I wonder if I can. And so when she like offers to let me leave, if I leave that guy behind, I'm like, what if I say I am going to leave that guy behind? And I'm like, so I tell her like, okay. Then I just walk past her and then sink down. So I'm in a crouch because I'm wearing my stealth outfit. She doesn't notice me going into my crouch. I get the little like eyes closed message which says that the villain isn't paying attention to your action. And I come up behind her and I just slit her fucking throat, even though she's like 15 levels higher than me. Which means I get like all of the gear on her without even having to do a fight.
For sure.
Yeah, there was another guy I had to assassinate, and I'm like, what it ended up being was like 10 minutes crouching behind a barrel, waiting for him to walk by at the exact right moment so I could like guzzle elixir of true shot and then headshot him with a poisoned arrow. And I was like, oh, like I had no idea that like that this game allowed you to like mechanically engage with it in this way, that you could that there was ways to like be a dirtbag in dialogue and create like expectations where you would like swindle people and be evil and be sneaky. Like all of this could like manifest strategically, and just it's satisfying because like I was just so used to like playing it like a straightforward good guy who would just show me like, okay, I'm a good guy now, and here are my summoned flame Atronox. And also, I need to talk about friend of the show Twan for just a second. Jesus Christ! At this point, I cannot see a flame Atronach in Skyrim without thinking about Twan, because I have at this point heard from him at least 3 different times a speech about how all he really wants is to find a girl who looks like a flame Atronach on the dating apps. He's like, yeah, they flame Atronach, they're all caked up, they're so great. And I cannot see a flame Atronach now without thinking about how they're all caked up and how we could just find one of the dating apps. Like, this is not the right reaction to the flame Atronach. It's not.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I should be concerned about their DPS and their ability to be summoned over and over again. Instead, I'm looking at the groceries. God damn it.
Listen, when they're all caked up, it's, they know what they're doing. They want the groceries. It's okay. You can appreciate the effort that they put into the groceries.
Sometimes
You know?
people just have groceries, though.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
Good for them. Proud of her.
Proud of her.
She slings fireballs and has groceries. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Good for her.
Let her have her groceries in peace.
She contains multitudes.
She's probably an intellectual. She needs those
That's what I
groceries
heard.
to uplift all her books.
I mean, spells require both. They require verbal, somatic, and material components. So those fireballs don't come from nowhere.
They come from the passionate soul within.
Jeez. So, God, what have y'all been playing? What have you had your hooks into of late?
I mean, outside of the stuff I've already talked about, the only other thing that I've really been playing is Fire Emblem Vision Quest, which is cool. I haven't gotten to the big moment in it yet. I think it's still like a group of like normal people who are turning to banditry because of like an unjust tax system, and they're robbing the rich to take care of themselves, but they're kind of being, after the incident where they ended up defending merchants from a second band of bandits, they are now like trying to pivot into mercenaries.
Right.
I haven't seen the complete result of that yet, but I'm interested. Mechanically, the game is good. I think it's cool that most of the characters that you recruit, in addition to having like generic weapons, also have named weapons from the beginning. They're not like incredibly special is what I'd say. Like they're not super busted, but they do have like angles of like use. Like one character has like a brave sword, which allows them to hit twice on their turn, regardless of their speed stat. And if their speed stat would normally give them 2 hits, that 2 hits becomes 4, which is a big deal. There are characters that like have weapons that are like armor piercing or like good against like mounted riders. I just recently recruited a pirate that had an axe that gives them an advantage against dark magic casters, which I don't remember if I've actually seen before, let alone that early in the game. But it looks like they have plans, that they're doing stuff. I'm low-key regretting them using them as much as I am. I imagine they may be like big deals later on in the run, but we'll see what happens. But at the moment, the game is sick mechanically and interesting narratively, and I'm looking forward to seeing more.
You said this was Fire Emblem Echoes?
No, this one's called Fire Emblem Vision Quest, which is this is a ROM hack fan game project. They've hacked the data associated with Fire Emblem 8 Sacred Stones, and turned it into a new adventure with a new cast with existing systems.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Gotta get into more weird shit. I know that sounds funny, but like I just like I've just got a galaxy of so many like weird little pieces of hardware that I know that like I have in the past like really enjoyed like ROM hacking and and fan games. I'd like to get back into ROM hacking and fan games because they're weird and fun.
There's a lot of good stuff happening for sure.
Yeah.
Vision Quest and Echo aren't exactly new. Like Vision Quest is definitely like a really stable project that is like fully into a V3.0 with like 1s and 2s of like multiple like entries. They've been working at it for years, and they have a pretty strong team that have serviced it over the years. And Echo is a relatively small project. I think it's built on top of the architecture that involves Pokemon Black and White, and also has a small team. But again, they released a demo, I believe, last year, maybe even the year before, but they're re-releasing with an episodic schedule, and chapters 1 and 2 are currently available with 5 planned, is what I've heard.
Good times. And this the Rabbit and Steel, which I believe that both of you have gone on record as saying, Brian, this game is not for you.
I don't think you'd like it very much because it's very busy and pretty fast.
Mhm.
But it is cool. Like if you are interested in exploring it, then I will definitely be a guide for you. But I probably wouldn't recommend it to you specifically.
Okay, yeah, not
There is something that I think you might like. I don't know. Brian, how familiar are you with the game Moncala?
not very,
Okay.
unfortunately.
There is a guy who recently he's been busy plugging it a little bit on social media, mostly Blue Sky, and they're making a game. It's called Oh Where, which is like a roguelike Moncala with like story elements, and their demo just recently became available. I've seen the stuff that they've played on social media. I haven't gotten to touch the demo personally yet, but everything I've seen seems interesting to me. But
Oh,
basically, they're turning
where?
Moncala into a deck building roguelike.
Is that OWARE or how's it?
Yeah, I just linked the Steam page in this chat, so you can see it as well as pick up the demo if you'd like.
There's where I. There's my missing letter.
It's pitched as a puzzle battler where they take the strategy that's involved in Moncala and like giving roguelike elements to it, and you can spec out your deck by like choosing which marbles to include in your like set, and like the marbles that you're like moving around the map and trying to drop into your opponent's like pile have like effects that like effectively turn into a 1v1 battle.
Oh, this looks really cool.
Yeah, right.
Also, I really dig the look of it.
Like I think the dark like look with it with like the brighter like popping colors is a very like mature decision.
Yep. This is man. I would like to. Hello, video games. It's Brian. I'd like to talk with you for just a second. Video games. Um. Um. I'm here to tell you. Please, 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 please stop letting Sony's decision to pursue endless, faithful realism as their only meaningful aesthetic. Uh,
True.
Guide your fucking decisions from an art direction perspective. Uh,
Talking.
yeah, like oh my god, like things do not need to look like The Last of Us. They do not. They will cost significantly less to produce. They will have shorter dev times, and more people will be happy with them. Like, um, God, I'm now picturing, something I might make as a bullshit Photoshop, like Balatro if it were developed by Sony. Like just, but I want more games with fun aesthetics. Like also because
Hmm.
now that we are in this hardware crisis for games, if we still want games to happen, the games that are going to happen cannot chase top of the line specs. Like they have to be able to run on shit like old laptops or older computers. Like um, I don't know when the last time was you refreshed any components in your hardware rig, Rocky. Um, do you have an idea? Like when's the last time you swapped out a component?
No, I actually like rebuilt my computer last year because I saw what was going on with like the RAM shortage. Like I wasn't gonna play with them. Fuck
All
that.
right, so you built a bunker. You're like, oh, this is going to be bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I replaced my GPU. I got a new CPU. I replaced my motherboard, and I got new RAM. Like, dog, I'm sincerely worried. Like, with especially with like what's going on with RAM right now, I'm gonna laugh very hard when we see what happens when like just normal ass businesses need to buy new computers and they can't buy RAM for a reasonable price, especially for things that just need browsers nowadays. Like you Brian, do you remember the last time before this like age of like Chromium browsers where you'd have a computer that's spending 30-40% of its RAM
Oh yeah.
allotment on a browser? Like, Jesus
Yep.
Christ.
Yep. Like Chrome is a fucking mess, and like we
Hmm.
we we have historically lived in a world where Chrome has not had to pay the piper. Um,
Right.
where you're like, "Hey Chrome, what you doing?" Like, I don't know, man. I got 30 tabs open. Like, well, Chrome, can you tell me what you're doing as far as like memory usage? I don't know. What's a lot? Can you give me a number?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm doing. You're like that doesn't work. That will not work anymore. And I know I've said it before, but it's a very new line for me, so I feel okay repeating it. Is have we reached the end of personal computing? Um, that would suck. That would really, really suck. Um, if our market collapsed into the Brazil style game market because of people wanting to like destroy all the water to create robots that lie to me and can't count to 200. Um,
Yeah.
oh man, that's no good. Um, uh, I had no idea that because of tariffs and part shortages, the price of the Playdate went up. I
Oh
mean,
no! How much does the play take now?
yeah, Playdate's 230 now. Like, so obviously they're not fucking hard. Like, it went from
Yeah,
200
but
to
still.
230. But they're like, part shortages and tariffs come for us all. Playdate now 230.
Like I'm mostly waiting for what Lenovo's gonna do, you know, like because they've been selling like $150 ThinkPads for like a decade.
Yeah, days is done. Like I really worry about this like dog shit laptop that I use for things that are not gaming. Where like my hanging out on Discord and goofing off on the internet laptop because it
Mm-hmm.
sucks. It's a shitty Acer laptop.
Sure.
It's held together with duct tape and dreams. Um, and like I do not want this thing to explode because
Yeah.
like you get so like it's not even a point of like um getting less for your money now. It's like you are you're going to have to probably enter the used you're going to have to probably enter the used market to buy computers like very soon. Um which feels fucking weird. It feels really weird.
Yeah.
Um
I remember this comic, where like someone like was waking up their 10-year-old laptop to play some music, and like it was a vibe. I hope your
yeah.
laptop gets to live this kind of life, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, right.
Um uh, um I just uh like I worry about a future of gaming where all the games are is they're just called like slop butt and they are streamed advertisements that happen between TikToks where you're just trying to move a thing right or left to add to your army of guys. That's all that
I
we
mean,
have.
I gotta tell you, Brian, I'm not gonna say that those games won't exist, and I think I could probably point to one or two that is real and probably making significant amounts of money. But like the real art is still happening, dude. People are still doing stuff. They're out here. I promise.
I don't think video games like that will be a subset of video games for sure, but I don't think video games will ever not be art.
Yeah,
You know?
man. They're really trying out here. There's good stuff that's
That's
like
like saying
they're
that's
scraping
like
by, but
yeah, to me like that's like saying there's nobody writing classical music anymore or there's nobody painting masterpieces right now. Those are definitely happening. Those are things that are still happening, you know?
Mhm. Like they may not be the most popular thing for sure, or like even the thing that's like most marketed or most serviceable, and that's a tragedy in and of itself. That's fine. I can accept that, but like they're still real, you know,
Mm.
fighting every day.
Can we swing back to 1000X Resist?
Yeah, sure. What do you want to know?
What kind of game is it?
It's a walking simulator.
Mm.
Okay. So no real puzzling. I just moved this character from point A to point B.
No, no real puzzling. Character from point A to point B, but I promise you, Brian, you won't miss it. I thought I was going to miss it, sincerely.
Yeah.
Like, there's a little, like, maybe like memorization tests every once in a while, but like, the game is about its story, and it delivers itself in ways that you probably won't imagine. And the things that like the knowledge checks that it asks for aren't mean, like they're not like they're not there to trip you up or to like disrupt your experience. They're there to pull you back in.
I see that it's currently being offered in a couple different bundles.
Yeah, it's like year 3 for them, I think. So like they're focused on their tail, and that usually involves collaboration.
Let's see, released May of 2024.
Yeah.
And it's available in the Rhythm is Resistance bundle, which is
Real.
1,000 Exist, and what's the other game in this bundle? Unbeatable.
Oh yeah, those are great games. I don't know how you feel about rhythm games though, Brian, but Unbeatable, I haven't touched in like a week or so, but like I have very strong positive feelings about it. They're doing good stuff.
Unbeatable is the most. Oh man, look at how Dreamcast this game looks. Oh shit.
Hell yeah. You know what it is, Brian.
Oh man, the jet.
This was a Kickstarter game. We've been waiting for this one to like come out in full release for like a few years now. They missed their initial targets. It is what it is, but they've been focused. They didn't really ask for more money. They did use a backer kit to like, keep things rolling, but the Unbeatable is something special, sincerely.
Oh. Do they have any kind of difficulty scaling?
They do. There are several difficulty scalings, and none of them like make you feel like you're a baby.
Okay, so I can still play this on like say old man and feel like a grown up.
Yeah.
Oh, fun!
Because the game is about what they're talking about. Like there's a rhythm game, and there's like there's a bit more gaming, like classic gaming stuff to do. Like there's like a little bit of like third person platforming, looking at a screen and like figuring out what to do about like how to get into a space, stuff like that. Because you're basically a punk rock duo in a world where playing music summons like spirits to hurt people, but despite that, you're gonna play music anyways. It's indelible to the human experience.
Oh, that's rad.
It is rad. Can confirm.
There's also 2 other bundles that I could get 1,000 extras this 10. There's also the Flections in Reflections bundle, which comes with Slay the Princess.
Slay the Princess is also Slay the Princess is a visual novel. It is probably one of the most like ornate visual novel experiences that are on the market. Brian, you would love Slay the Princess, sincerely.
I feel like there's so many things I missed when all I was doing was just playing Hearthstone.
It is what it is, Brian, but it's still here, It didn't go anywhere.
Oh man. This princess is all caked up. Jesus.
Oh, yeah. And the fun thing is, there are a lot of different princesses. You get to she contains multitudes. She may be the universe, honestly.
This animation style is wild.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's
they're the people that made Scarlet Hollow, if you're familiar, which is wrapping up soon, by the way.
Cool.
Also, it's super brave of them to have just done an episodic visual novel dating sim over the course of years, released episodically.
The third thing that is available to pair with 1,000 Extra Resist is a game called Caves of Quud.
Oh, I think you'd like Caves of Cud, but I don't. It's more like Dwarf Fortress. It's still a simulator, but like it's basically their latest thing. Like they've what's the word? It's not send it off, but they've like presented Dwarf Fortress to like a mainstream audience, and like they took that cash infusion to wrap up Caves of Cud, and that's what they're working on now.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is very much like if you like to look at, characters on screen, like this is a very lo-fi graphic experience, and it's like but also it looks like it's got ridiculous layers of mechanical depth. Man, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger on this 1000X Resist, because I know that it's a thing that y'all have mentioned to me several times before.
I wish you well.
Is it going to? How wounded am I going to be emotionally?
Brian, you will never be the same again. I'm so sorry. Tegan,
sorry.
what did you say that when we were playing it? Like I was playing it. Tegan was watching it on stream, and she was like, "I wish I had played this game when I was a kid. I don't know who I would be if I played it back then, but I would be someone else.
I would be a fundamentally different person, I think is what I said. I'm like, there is a Tegan who plays this as a child, and she's a fundamentally different person than the person I am today, and I would love to meet her.
Oh, wow.
Wait, do you remember when you talked about What Remains of Edith Finch, and I was like, that's not a video game?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, actually.
I have reconsidered my position because of this game.
That's true. Happened in real time. I think it's on video, actually, somewhere.
It may be on video. It may be in the archives. Like, this game did that. So, if that helps at all.
Neat. Mm. I'm so glad that. Oh, that's so cool, because like the hooray!
Like, okay, I get it. I get why What Remains of Edith Finch is a video game now. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, interactivity isn't necessarily designed to mean challenging mechanically. Hooray!
True enough. Yeah.
Interactivity. Very cool. Well, welcome, Tegan. We have snacks. Let's see here. I feel like it's worth mentioning, just because where we are in the calendar and when this episode will come out for folks. There's a Resident Evil video game that's going to come out this month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Resident Evil 9.
This month? This current month?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this month?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No, I still have time on that. I still have time. No, this month? No. Uh-oh.
Yeah, 27th. It's right at the tail of it, Teagues, but it's this month.
Ah, shit. Okay. Well, I better tell Alex. Alex loves the Resident Evil games, so, you know.
I'm probably just going to watch Enemy play it, but that's cool. I don't mind.
It's like, man, I'm like, am I going to mix it up? Am I going to play Resident Evil?
I mean, you could.
Yeah. As far as I know, there's no 9-foot-tall ladies in it.
They can't all have them, you know? Bummer.
Yeah. But I did enjoy that series before the 9-foot-tall ladies. So,
9 looks good, honestly.
Yeah. And Capcom has been very good at targeting deck with release specs. So,
true.
Yeah. Also helps. I mean, I guess I could I always just play all the shit I've got going on right now.
I mean, I hear that. Brian, if you want to play with the new shit, I'm not gonna begrudge you, like, but like if you're worried about FOMO, I think it'll still be around.
Yeah, like there is a Discord server I hang out on where I am absolutely certain that a whole bunch of 20 somethings that hang out on that server are going to play Resident Evil day one.
Hmm.
And uh, I I'm not sure I need to like play it alongside them, you know.
Sure.
But like or and also like our like, I think I'm also accustomed to the idea that like at this point our show will never have a big enough audience that we need to have day one takes. We're well beyond that. Like people are here because they like Rocky, Tegan, and Brian. They're not here because they want day one takes on video games. They want day one takes on video games. They have left this show a long time ago.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fair.
yeah. Um, but yeah, it's like, oh man, new Resident Evil. Like, I'm pretty sure at some point I'm gonna play it, but like, I have like downloaded on my deck Avowed, so I was like, I would like to play Avowed because it is an open world, um, like RPG with like interesting layered mechanical systems from Obsidian. But I haven't even opened it yet because I have been busy playing other games. Like like God, I'm really enjoying Date Everything. Um,
Word.
yeah. Yesterday I fucked my bed. Finally fucked my bed. Yes.
For sure, man.
Yeah. She's so nice. She's so
That's what I've heard.
yeah. Uh,
I don't know. Like I think about like what this show is like meant to be a lot actually. And I understand like, the people who provide day one takes, but I feel like as long as we spend time with things that is meaningful to us, like what we bring forward is still valuable.
yeah.
Like, and I think that's fine. I don't think I need anything else. If someone else wants something else, then they can talk to me about it. But like, I haven't heard anything. That's what I'm
Uh,
saying.
while I was checking in earlier on the question, is there a monster catching game for the Playdate? Looks like there is somebody who is deep in development one called Asobimon.
Okay.
Uh, and went and looked at some screenshots. Looks pretty neat. Uh,
Okay. Let's
yeah,
go, Sobimon.
yeah. So yeah, I'm glad that somebody who looked at that hardware and was like, "What this thing needs is a monster catcher." There's a couple other monster catchers at various stages of development. And then there is a training game called 10 Day Champion, where the end of the world is in like 10 days, and you have to have your champion ready uh, by the time, so that way he can like stave off the end of the world. And so you've got 10 days to get your champion ready. So you pick your champion at the beginning of the game, which is like picking a starter Pokemon. And then you got 10 days to get ready for the end of the world. Um, which has like definitely like what feels like roguelike hooks. Like that seems kind of neat too. Um, so yeah, like it seems like a space where people are trying to serve in that market. Like the big one will definitely be like the Asobimon, but yeah, people like training and battling games, they're there. And also training and battling roguelikes with this 10 Day Champion. That's neat too.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
There's been a bit of that actually. I know the Koromon devs is working on a roguelike chapter for them. And even before that, like the Pokemon Company, I think an Emerald was their first iteration of it, where they did a battle tower as an end game challenge, where you could show up and then take X rental Pokemon and try to make your way through like the ensuing battles. Um, I'm glad that it's becoming like less the purview of the Pokemon Company and like more interesting as a development space. Um, I think that's all I really had to say about it.
um, I do want to, I guess, bring up the Nintendo Partner Spotlight.
All right.
Um, man, nothing more underscores the fact that we are in GameCube 2.0 than the Nintendo Partner Spotlight. where lots of the games that got attention were like several years old, but are being offered at like a full retail price, which very much feels like a Nintendo tax. It felt weird that what one of the newest games to get focus was Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and that's like a 2-year-old game at this point.
Yeah, they're trying to do the victory lap. Like, yeah, no, guys, we promise we do have games. See, here's all the stuff that came out before. You can play it on Switch 2 now, please, guys. And it's just like, okay, whatever.
Ugh, I feel like when I picture the long term shape of like the curve for sales for the Switch 2, I feel like there's going to be a cliff in there because at this point, hashtag Switch 2 needs games. Which would I'm like, oh man, I remember Wii U needs games. Like this, but like the problem is shaped differently now. Like Wii U was just like there were no games, so to speak. And yes, everybody like do not get out your pens and paper. Like I know there were games on the Wii U, but we're talking about like accessing a broader, larger market. And Switch 2, like the stuff that they're like, hey, broader, larger market. Would you like to play a 5-year-old game? Would you like to play an 8-year-old game? Would you like to pay prices for a 5-year-old game and 8-year-old game, which are priced as if they are new experiences and don't acknowledge how old the game is?
Right.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, man, that's not the best idea. And like when they do have new games from third party devs, the versions which are being shown aren't like seriously compromised, but are definitely obviously compromised, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so they don't look super shitty, but they definitely look like when they showed like Resident Evil 9 for the Switch 2, it's like, okay, this does not look like it has the same graphical fidelity as the PS5 or the Xbox Series or PC version. Like, so yes, it's a new game, but it just it's. I mean, if I was willing to run a game on like lower specs for a handheld experience, there's a device for that with a significantly deeper library.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like the answer with Nintendo is always going to be first party titles. And like now we're 9 months into the life cycle of this thing, and it appears to be a $550 machine that plays Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, we do know there are other games coming out for it, though. You know,
that is true.
It's just
like,
Nintendo has been terrible about like telegraphing actual timelines for them.
Yeah, they really have. And like, and I'm not arguing that like its eternal state is $550 machine that plays Donkey Kong Bonanza, but its current state is $550 machine that plays Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but I guess what I think what Tegan is alluding to is that like that will likely not be the case by the end of this year or even the year after that. You
Right.
know.
What do they have? Like, I guess
Metroid Prime 4 is there, and like it's a mixed bag. Like there are people who are saying it's a really great Metroid game, and like I think where the sensible money is landing, that is a pretty good Metroid game with an annoying like side character that talks over your shoulder the whole time. And there's another Switch 2 title that I'm forgetting about. I know their tech demo thing is actually pretty good. It's just a shame that they decided to charge $10 for it. I'm trying to remember. There's something else that's like actually worthwhile in the Switch 2, and I just don't remember what it is right now. Mario Kart World is still there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I guess there is Mario Kart World. Now, I know that Mario Kart World's like attachment rate for the console is damn near 1-to-1. Like virtually everybody who bought that machine has purchased Mario Kart World.
That's one thing. Kirby Air Riders is really good, actually, unironically, apparently.
Mhm.
And I was pretty wowed by what's going on in Mario Tennis Fever. However, it is not a good enough reason for me to buy a Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah. It doesn't come out until it comes out later this month though. The 12th.
Yeah.
It'll be out by the time the show is out.
Yeah, so, if someone has a Switch 2 and they want to play Mario Tennis Fever, I'll go over to your house and play with you maybe, but, otherwise just tell me how it is.
I am still waiting for information on Splatoon Raiders and
True.
the inevitable Splat 4, Once I hear about those, then I will likely invest, but I'm happy to sit on the fence, My Switch still works perfectly fine and I'm not mad about it.
Real.
Okay, yeah. You look at this tennis fever.
They're doing stuff. It seems neat.
Mhm.
I'm kind of excited actually. But it's more something that I'm willing to walk by and pick up later rather than run to as soon as it's available.
Right. What's going on here? What are we doing with this tennis fever? Yeah, their little game cards. Oh, I know we've had a little bit of this conversation before, but the quasi physical that they're doing, where they're like, "Hey, look, you purchased a physical token. Is there any game on the token? No, not at all. But you can insert the token into your Switch 2 and then download the game."
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super.
I do dislike the fact that game cards are more keys than they are contained video games. But I also I don't run their business. I don't know I have been unable to reconcile the actual realities of the development or whatever. I imagine they could produce even SD cards that could carry the amount of data that they need so that it can be self-contained. But for some reason they don't, and I don't know why. And I'm not in their meetings, so I'm not gonna pretend to know. But Jesus Christ, this shit sucks.
Okay, I'm looking at the Mario Tennis Sphere
Mm-hmm.
and looking at these various rackets.
Yeah, tell me more, Brian. What do you think?
And yeah, this looks pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, right. Have you gotten to the transforming court yet? Or no, those are going to come up later. That's another minute and a half, I think.
The thing that I'm into is I'm looking. So there's this racket called the Golden Dash racket, and it appears to be that the thing that it does, which is super cool, is that no matter how big and heavy your character is, when you dash with the Golden Dash racket, you're super fast. So if you select a character based on power, like Bowser, by using the Golden Dash racket, you unlock speed when you need it. Oh, okay, all right, okay. I mean, this looks neat, but
yeah, man.
But I don't. It doesn't have that it doesn't seem seductive enough to make me go oh wow, all right.
Right.
I mean, they really almost had me with Donkey Kong Bonanza, but my brain woke up and was like, Ryan, that is buying a big expensive thing to play one game.
Correct.
I bought big expensive games to play less. I know.
I mean, I get that. I think he would still really love Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I do think the catalog will ultimately fill out with enough stuff for a human person to play.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree that this first year has not been super exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm willing to agree with that as well. I am looking at the PlayStation 5 that I bought specifically to play Horizon Zero Dawn before the next Horizon game was had a release date. When I say that.
Yeah.
I sure did do that.
Well, there is going to be another co-op Horizon game that apparently takes place right after Forbidden West, so
it's so weird. I feel like the PS5 and the Xbox Series, it feels like a lost generation. I understand that they are out, and I understand that video games have come out from, and I understand successful video games have appeared on these consoles. but like I don't feel like have there been any big like what are the platform defining experiences for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series? The Xbox Series, we know that the big answer is there are none! Exclamation point. There are no platform defining experiences because Microsoft has essentially surrendered the console market so that way they can spend more money on AI. Are there any platform defining experiences for the PlayStation 5?
It's gonna be the Horizon games. The Horizon games, Time Stranger, that kind of stuff. You know?
Time Stranger's like well, I mean it ended up on PS5 first for sure. Like
Yeah,
it
was a timed exclusive for sure.
Right. But let me look at PS5 real quick. God, there's just wait, did Alan Wake end up on the Xbox?
Yeah.
Alan Wake 2?
Alan Wake is on the Xbox, yeah. Alright. I know that because that's where Alex plays it.
Earlier, did you say Time Stranger?
Yeah, it's a Digimon game.
Time Stranger. Yeah, the new Digimon game. It's good, for sure.
It is an excellent experience for Digimon fans. Huge. It's been mentioned several times in Bandai's recent earnings calls. So
that one did end up elsewhere. I was going to say Bugsnax for a second, but then I remember that it did end up other places. Yeah, like, I'm trying to think of, like, the PS5 exclusives, and I'm like, I don't know if there's, like, the big thing. Like, if I told someone, get a PS5 for X, I don't know. Well, I wouldn't say that, but that's something else. That's not what we're talking about, actually.
I think they're kind of hoping it's going to be Persona 6 when that comes out, you know? Because they're supposed to be doing something about that this year, right?
Yes. Also, the remake, the Final Fantasy remake stuff, even though it's ultimately spreading everywhere, was like a moment on PS5 as compared to like Xbox for sure. God of War also, I think God of War, is that still console exclusive? It's on Windows, but it's still PlayStation. So God of War and God of War Ragnarok are things that I would point out. And God, I just saw Hi-Fi Rush and a tear almost streamed down my face. Let me focus. But you can play in Stars in Time on PS5? That's insane. I don't know why you would do it, but I guess you can.
Yeah, you can play in Stars in Time on Switch too. Yeah, I bought the physical edition as soon as it was announced. I was very excited about it.
Hell yeah. God, and they're ending the Life is Strange games. Like a Dragon. Well, Infinite Wealth was a big deal, but I don't know if I call it like a PS5
like a solid moment.
God, I did have to borrow a PS5 for like 3 months to play Monster Hunter Rise, but I have my own beef with that game, and it's also everywhere. It's cool that All Over the World's on PS5. I don't think you'll need a PS5 to play that, but it's cool you can play it there. Brian, you'll be excited to know that you can put plumbers on laptops on PS5.
Right, you exploded.
You exploded and then you went into another dimension. Can you repeat that?
Yeah.
Sorry, Brian, you will be excited to know that you can play Plumbers Don't Wear Ties on PS5.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's good news.
Yeah, I don't know if I could point to like a quintessential PS5 experience. I think there are games you can play on it, and that's fine, you know. But most of the games that are on it, you don't need to buy a PS5 to play.
Yeah. And
for the Stellar Blade ended up on everywhere, right? No, it's on PC, but it's also you can play Stellar Blade on PS5. That definitely had a moment for sure. Remember Stellar Blade, everybody? Stellar Blade.
Stellar was the one that got all the weirdos to show up, right?
Yeah, it did. Thank goodness you're here. Is everywhere. The Whipron. Let me see. The Tony Hawk Pro Skater remakes. Did that also end up everywhere?
Sure did.
Yeah. Okay. I'm almost at the end of my alphabetical list.
And I will vent a very small complaint. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 remake.
Okay.
Which is that Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, when it was released, part of the big appeal of it was, hey man, the game is just open world now. There's no timer until you pick up a mission. So you just would free skate until you picked up a quest, and that was how it like changed from Tony Hawk Pro through 1 through 3. And in the remake of 4, they're like, yeah, we just went ahead and slapped the timer in. Like no, god damn it! I realized that like there's a smaller memory lane crowd for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, but for me, that's my favorite one of the series. And I spent so much time just like cruising the levels and just getting to know every nook and cranny, so that way when I wanted to do shit like spell skate, like I can make these ridiculous combos. And that was because I had time to like get to know the levels like intimately in free.
For sure, yeah.
Oh well. But yeah, like I guess that's the deal with like PS5 is that like unless you're excited by like Sony's first party catalog, there's not a lot there, because like what there is everywhere. And like are there like individual series which are like interesting? Like yes. The Horizon series is pretty fucking cool. Like it did this like giant sprawling open world 3D action game, which holds more mechanically in common with like the original Tomb Raider games than the current iteration of Tomb Raider. But I'm definitely paying attention to see like what the new Tomb Raiders will feel like. But other than Horizon, your other series are like Last of Us, dad game. Uncharted, dad game. God of War, dad game. And they all play the same fucking thing. They're all the camera right behind the shoulder, big cinematic battle chained to another cinematic battle. I will now cram between these two boulders to hide a load sequence. Here's an emotional scene where like male protagonist painfully expresses himself to hide the fact that I, human playing the game, can't express my own emotions. Like it just, I think that the only thing that it seems to be like throwing any money at these days that I care about is Horizon. And like I miss the day where like Sony had a huge development slate and put out weird shit.
Yeah,
I think part of the reason so many dad games came out, number one, same thing, one game was successful, and so they're like, let's do more of that. And number two is that's the first generation that a lot of the people who were growing up playing video games became dads, and so it was very relatable content, even if like the rest of it wasn't relatable, that part was relatable. And so now that like this isn't the first iteration of, oh, I'm a father, and like how do I reconcile with this and like learning to process some of those feelings through a bunch of people who are also suddenly dads, despite whatever we knew about them before, I feel like now there's going to be a little more space there, but like, it's going to take time. Games take time to develop, and that's okay. We want them to take time.
True. Like Sony's house hasn't been in order for a very long time. Like they're still managing to like put out video games and cut some deals, but like they've been in disarray for a very long time. I think they still have co-CEOs or something, if I remember correctly.
We have watched with glee and snickered at the open civil war that has existed within their video game infrastructure.
Yeah, so I feel like we can cut them a little slack on like, hey, you haven't been developing games that we're interested in. And it's like, yeah, they can barely develop their own boardroom, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you can't have anybody make a decision, then nothing's gonna get done.
And when they do make decisions, it's decisions like laying off all of Santa Monica Studios.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah, which is definitely stupid. Like, that's a dumb decision. It's a weird decision to make. It's a stupid decision to make, but you know, at least it's done, and now like those developers can do something else.
Hopefully.
Yeah, even if it's like what the Clear Obscure group did and like found their own studio and did their own thing, you know?
Mm-hmm. They leverage their contacts, they put together something real.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, as indies, it's going to take even longer for them to do that.
Hmm.
Ugh.
True.
Video games.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Rocky Tegan. Has it been a podcast?
So?
Yeah, sure, man. Let's get out of here.
And bring us home.
Hey, everybody. Welcome again. This is Impossible Coin Podcast. I'm Rocky, this is Tegan, and there's Brian over there. We do this every couple of weeks. You can find it where podcasts are found, except for SoundCloud, and there's another one. I think Google Play, but that's because Google Play doesn't exist anymore. It's not a big deal, but you can find us on our website. It's possiblecoin.libsyn.com. You can get the podcast direct if you want, or wherever you get it. Don't really matter. We just like that you're out there. Our music was created by our kid brother Big Soch. You can find his work at SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/BigSochNJ, or the music that he makes with his band at betweenrooms.bandcamp.com. Our logo was designed by Lauren Moran. You could find her wherever you can type Lauren Moran into a social media site, I'm pretty sure. And she definitely has a Patreon if you would like to support her work. She does really good work. We still don't really know how we got this logo, but that's cool. We stream a couple times a week on Twitch at twitch.tv/ImpossibleCoin. And we do have a Discord server if you want to hang out or talk to us and what have you. And that's basically the long and the short of it. But we enjoy you being here. I think we also enjoy being able to do this. Thanks for hanging out. Take it easy. Do big things.
Thank you, everybody. Peace.
It's official.